All right, welcome back to our seller series where we're talking about open houses today. I'm Kaila Henry, and this is Kathy Zalewski with Realty One Group. So Kathy, what are your top 3 non-negotiables when hosting an open house?
Okay, so my top 3 non-negotiables when hosting an open house are, I think, number 1, I always tell sellers to take anything valuable with them, including medicine, jewelry,
family heirlooms,
yep.
or just personal things like maybe photos that are really special, not monetary value, but hold a really special spot in your heart.
Right. I guess the backstory to that is that so during an open house, there could be several groups in at the same time. And if the home is occupied, it's hard for me to keep track of everybody when I'm there by myself. And people bring their kids to open houses and things like that. And we just don't want anybody, quite frankly, buyers will look in your refrigerator.
Yeah.
They will open cabinets. They will open your medicine cabinet. And so that's an average buyer. Now, then there are people out there that are actually, have bad intent. So we want to keep your home as safe as possible if we are going to, in fact, do open houses. So number 1 is take your valuables with you. I think number 2 would be, hey, make sure that it's clean. Mm-hmm. We want the home as clean as possible and safe. And by that, I mean, like, hey, if you know that there's a rug that trips up everybody all the time, take it out, take it away, do whatever. Doors that lock automatically, maybe put a key so that we know nobody gets locked in anywhere or locked out. And I think, of course, you've got to clear out in a fashion that where you understand that people are going to be coming through your home. They might touch your bedspread. They're, again, going to look in your refrigerator potentially.
I would also add, living in Montana, make sure that your front path is clear of snow and ice.
Absolutely.
That's, to me, kind of a key thing that, not only the inside of your home, also the exterior, to make sure that people can access it comfortably and safely.
Right. So even though I kind of did that in a roundabout way, top 3 non-negotiables: clean your home, take anything valuable with you, including medicines, jewelry, heirlooms, anything like that, and then make sure your home is safe. That there's no trip hazards or, potential slip and falls on your front doorstep or anything else. You got to remember that that you are opening your house to the public, and that makes you responsible for certain things. And we want to make sure that you're ready for that.
Yeah.
So that being said, Kaila, in your experience, do open houses actually help sell a home?
I think it's common knowledge amongst realtors, or just from people who've been doing it a long time. Open houses don't typically result in the sale of that exact home. Realtors are often doing it to potentially pick up buyer clients. So to me, open houses are more often for the real estate agent. They can, of course, help get your home seen by some people, and occasionally it does result in a sale. So it's not something we just won't always do, but I always like to take it on a case-by-case basis for my clients to see how difficult is it for them to have their home shown, again, in a safe manner, which we just talked about, and what do they want? If it's something they want, I'm happy to run and do open houses, but oftentimes, my recommendation is let's give it at least a week or 2 to get some traction, see how we're doing, maybe do an open house, but again, kind of taking it on a case-by-case basis.
I think one thing to note, since this video series is for sellers, as a seller, I would recommend to you, hopefully you're going to choose me as your agent, but a great way to interview agents is to go to open houses.
Yeah.
Very kind of a soft way to meet agents, see what they do, see how they work. Are they interacting with people?
Or are they sitting behind a computer, just being like, let me know if you have a question?
Right. It's a great way to interview without having to give away too much information. Mm-hmm. You don't have to tell the agent there that you're going to sell in the near future.
Yep. In fact, I probably wouldn't.
Right.
Because they'll harass you.
Right. So, I would say it's just a fantastic way to meet some agents that are out there doing business in the area. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind.
It's a great tip. It's a great way to kind of see what agents are like and a low stress.
Well,
not
and
so
if you don't list
salesy.
with me, list with Kaila.
Yeah.
So
One of
okay,
us, we're
yeah.
good. So Kathy, I've noticed that when you do open houses for your clients, you tend to have, you seem to do almost like an open house marathon. So a series of open houses,
Yeah.
maybe over a weekend or something along those lines. Tell me why you like that strategy.
Well, okay. So statistically speaking, the first 7 days that a home is on the market are when you A, should get the most activity, and B, hopefully be under contract. Again, everything that Kaila and I are telling you in these videos are so that you go under contract quickly, because being a seller is horrible.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
You have to open your house to the public day after day after day. And we want that to be minimized. So in terms of the open houses here in Bozeman, we've got Tuesday meetings. Usually most offices in town do Tuesday meetings. Mm-hmm. So I would have all the agents from my office, like Kaila, come through the house and give me kind of their opinion. Then Thursdays we have a open house broker tour. So that's all the agents
in our area.
Yeah. But again, not necessarily the public. And then I like to do open houses then Friday, Saturday, and potentially Sunday. I kind of do something strange, at least to Bozeman. People don't often do this, but I do like a Friday afternoon open house so that people, after they pick up their kids from school, can stop by, or, they're just on their way home from work and they're not as busy, they can stop by. I also think that Saturday mornings are a good time, kind of for the same reason. People might be on their way out to run their errands, but they might swing through the open house quickly. And then Sunday is kind of the traditional open house day here in Bozeman, Sunday afternoons. But I am a football fan, so I would rather do Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and maybe do Sunday, or maybe have another agent hold that home open for me on Sunday.
And I would say for Sundays, it's been usually what's most common. That's our open house day in our area. I do feel like that's changing some as well, since there's no longer a Sunday paper in our area. Right. So a lot of times you, of course, would list the open house in the Sunday paper. That is often where we did get a lot of folks. Now, when I've asked buyers how they hear about my open houses, it's just online.
Yep.
It is from them searching online. So to me, I don't know that Sunday time frame matters a ton anymore. Yeah. I think it used to, and now I think there's a little bit more flexibility. And you got to be a little more creative of how to find times of when people will come to the house.
And I think when I've asked my sellers, this is all like if you're occupying the property, when I've asked my sellers to be out Tuesday, Thursday, Friday evening, and Saturday morning, maybe you need a rest by Sunday.
Yeah.
And certainly there still might be showings. Hopefully there's still showings that first week. But that first week I kind of tell people, be prepared. If you can, certainly over the weekend, take a trip, go skiing, go backpacking, go
visit family,
go
to the lake.
Just because it'll be a lot less stressful than coming back in and then living there for 18 hours and then having to clean everything again. So and of course open houses, dogs, kids, everybody's gone. So I guess that's kind of my feeling about getting that big bang for your buck right out of the gate. And that's why I like to do them that way.
Well, in a more approachable way for your sellers to have an open house versus trying to always be ready and constantly having the pressure of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I'm wondering, something that is kind of would seem maybe straightforward, but why do you recommend locking your doors while you're on the market?
So living in Bozeman, I know a lot of people, have a lot of friends, family. People still don't often lock their doors in Bozeman. I think that may be changing some, but I still have folks that are like, well, we never lock our doors. Do we need to lock them now that our home is on the market? And my answer is always yes. You at least want the perception that your home is constantly locked. What you choose to do when you are entering and exiting the house, that's up to you. But I do highly recommend that people either get keys made, put fresh locks on the door so it's a really easy, seamless entry. You don't want old locks or keys that are really hard to work. It's just not a great first impression for buyers. And again, I think just the perception that your home is locked is really important while it's on the market, because it just is a good way to protect you. Security. So I do recommend it, even if it's not something you usually do.
Yeah. I mean, we're not trying to say that Bozeman is an unsafe area to live, just that you've got a sign in your front yard that says your house is for sale. Again, people are interesting.
Yeah.
And you just never know when somebody's going to, hopefully knock on your door and say, hey, can we take a look? Your house is for sale. We don't want to give that impression that that is something that's okay. Anybody that enters your house should be accompanied by an agent.
Yeah.
Or it should be an open house situation. So keeping your door locked is for your safety and protection. Certainly there are times when you and all your family members are out of the house. And again, that sign's in the front yard. Keep it locked. All the doors should be locked. So just for your own safety.
Yeah. I think it's just a specifically different time in having your home on the market versus just living there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Something we always recommend. Which brings me up, lockboxes, I feel like are a little bit misunderstood. So let's talk about those. How do they work to protect your client, Kathy, and facilitate showings?
Okay, so I am a big proponent of lockboxes. I think they are the best way to keep your home safe and also help your agent, as your seller's agent, gatekeep your property. So the lock boxes, first of all, in the MLS, I usually put the home is occupied, whether it is or not. Number two, I usually maybe also put pet alert, just so that really deters agents. They don't want to know, what kind of, do you have a pet badger? Which we have a friend that has a pet badger. So it could happen, but you don't want to, it will deter agents from just entering your home without an appointment. Mm-hmm. The other thing is we can also put a code on the lockbox, again, so that we would give the specific agent a specific time frame to be in the home with that specific code. What that does is that the agent has to talk to me before they enter the home. That gives me the opportunity to ask them where their buyers are. Are their buyers local, or are they moving from out of state? What kind of financing might they be using? Is their need to find a home urgent?
You get some time to vet them a little bit and just get a little understanding.
Right. And if you're occupying a home, if these buyers are not qualified to buy or in your price range, I might say, you know what, it's a little bit difficult to show this home. I don't feel like this is the best mix. Go ahead.
Or can your buyer take some steps to get a better understanding of what maybe works for them, what they're qualified to purchase? Like, we're not interested in just touring the home.
Right.
We want to get it sold for you.
Right. We don't want looky-loos, but we also want to make sure that we know as much as possible about those buyers before they come in, if this is a real good shot or not. Also, I use that opportunity to talk to that other agent to just get an idea of that agent's, how they work a little bit, because this might be the agent on the other side of the transaction from us for the next 30, 45 days that we have to work with. So that helps me kind of determine that a little bit. I think that is my biggest thing about lock boxes. I mean, in addition to just keeping your home safe, only agents can get into those lock boxes. You need a special code. You need to be a member of our MLS. We can give a code out to, say, a handyman or something like that. But again, we would know exactly what time and when they're going. The lockbox keeps track of who enters the house, how long they're there. And that just, again, another layer of keeping your home safe so that nothing unexpected happens while you're on the market.
And what we don't want to make showing your home too difficult, right? We do want to make it easy for people to see homes. That's something we always recommend. We still want to make sure that it's protected and thoughtful, right? Yeah. We don't want it just being shown willy-nilly,
right?
But we do still want it to be easy. And I think the lock boxes make that a really easy ask, because the keys are at the house, but they're in a secure place.
Yeah.
With tracking and everything.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And so then you will always know who's coming into your home as well.
And that brings me to my next question: is Ring doorbells. I'm not a huge fan of it, but Kathy, tell me what you think about them.
Yeah. Ring doorbells are, while they're handy during the time that your home is on the market, we do legally need to post on the front door that the property is being audio and visually recorded. The buyers need to be aware that their conversations with their agent
are not private.
Right, are not private. Could be used by the seller. So generally, even in my own personal home sale experience, it is painful to know what people are saying about your house. I would just turn it off and wait for the offer.
Best not to know.
Yeah.
Just trust in the process, trust in your agent. And that to me is I would say, make it as painless as possible.
Right. Buyers, certainly we've both had showings where the seller refuses to leave. And when we represent buyers, you walk in there and the seller's in the home and it's very uncomfortable. The buyers don't really get the opportunity to relax and maybe look at things or ask questions. Now, when they know they're being audio and visually recorded, same deal.
Same.
You don't have to be on the property. If they know you're watching, it makes them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've said it to your buyers as well, like you, well, or to your sellers, I should say, you want people to feel and see themselves in the home.
You want people to feel like they can drop in, relax, imagine a morning in your kitchen, watching TV around the fireplace or the living room.
Right.
You know, tucking kids into bed or, you know, visiting with a partner. You just want to allow them that space to imagine themselves in your space because that's what they're looking for.
It's almost like going back to that whole depersonalize. While a video camera might not seem personal, you are putting your person in that space even when you're not there, and that makes people feel uncomfortable.
And something I tell my clients, the moment you go on the market, and I know that this can sound a little callous or harsh, but the moment you put your home active on the market, that first day that it's out on the internet, we're sending emails to all of our you know, sphere of influence and everything, your home is no longer your home. It is an asset that you are working to move on from. So the moment sooner you can cut some emotional ties, depersonalize, start to move on from it, the better and smoother it will be for you and everybody else involved. And again, I understand that that can sound harsh when you're dealing with homes that you've raised children in or you've been in for 40, 50 years or have really fond memories. But that's truly what we get paid to look at it as, is an asset and helping you do the best with it that you can. And so that is my recommendation, is to try and remove as much emotion as possible. And I know that that's easier said than done, but it's my recommendation to do your best with it.
And this all kind of goes back to the prepping your home for sale. Take yourself out of it so that other people can see themselves in it. That's it. Bottom line. Pack up all your personal stuff and be ready to move, because that's what you've decided.
That's the goal, is to get you out of it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's it for this section. Next, I think we're going to hit kind of going over offers and when they come in, how we act as your agents in terms of vetting good offers or not. So thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.
We'll see you soon.